yeah, it could do anything in a way. It's that's what I like in puppetry is that sense that it's a living thing. Well, I love directing puppetry because when you get it right, it's another person on stage. It's not just an object. It really is a living entity. Again, so that's another thing we're experimenting with the object project. What it is when an object turns from an object into a living entity is that liminal space. Hello.
Hi, Mark. It's so lovely to meet you here on Zoom.
It's me on Zoom. Mad, isn't it? Mad, this technology, this whole new amazing world we have.
Exactly.
Yeah, welcome to my office. Anyway.
Oh, wonderful. But yeah, so it's lovely to speak to you in Leeds. Are you? I see your studios in Leeds.
Yeah, it's nice here. I've been here about 5 years now. I'm originally from Bristol, which is down in the south of England. Where are
Okay.
you? You're in Austria.
I'm also I'm in Vienna. Well, I used to live in Taunton, so I
Did
know the
you?
Bristol area. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I know Taunton well. Wow. Yeah. So yeah, down the M5. Amazing. What were you doing in Taunton?
Well, I lived there for a few years.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
a lot of time. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Mark, it's so amazing the work that you're doing, the object project. I've been following you on Instagram, and it's absolutely amazing the puppetry and illustrations and things. A lot of things that you're doing with your theater.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, what exactly do you do? What is the object project?
What is the object? Well, to be honest, the object project really is a project. It's a project. I started it about 2 years ago. I think it's just kind of post lockdown, and I just thought lockdown was great for me. I know it was terrible for so many people, but I sort of used the time just to kind of really experiment.
Really?
Yeah, just to kind of get to the core of what it is I want in my work, And I'm not saying that I found it, and I don't think I ever will find it because it's so elusive, and maybe I just want it to be elusive. But part of the object project remit was to kind of really get to the core of why I like using objects in my work, why I like this dialogue with things that I found. It's not enough just to kind of make a puppet from scratch. I need somehow to have this sort of dialogue with the real world. So what I've been doing is making automata, making artwork. I always say we, it's me. Been making artwork. We've just made a show, which has been touring. But it's all kind of part of this sort of just experimenting and kind of extrapolating what it is. So I have a better sense of what I'm trying to do, because the big problem I have, I've got a lot of artistic passion for everything I do, but very little kind of clear sense of where I'm heading.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? It's sort of sort of led by that thing of I need that to work. And but it's nice to have just been able to step back and just sort of go, okay, I see why I like those things and why that needs to be in the show. It's just good to have a bit of perspective, really. But what will come in the object project, I don't know. It may be just something I've run for a couple of years, or maybe my career now. I don't know, but we'll see.
But how amazing that it started in during lockdown.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I was lucky because I had a workshop, and a lot of people didn't, so I could isolate in the workshop.
Yeah. But this workshop, what initially did you do, or what did you do before lockdown?
Before lockdown, well, for the last about 10 years, I've been mostly making puppets for other people. Okay. I've tried making shows, but I just sort of felt like I wasn't making the thing I really wanted to be making. I couldn't find the passion in the show making anymore. So, it's been great. I've worked with some lovely companies making puppets and directing puppetry. That's a large part of what I do. Particularly a lot of stuff for the Egg Theatre in Bath. They got this show called Snow Mouse.
Oh, isn't that adorable? Oh, do you know what? If I see a puppet, I turn into a child again.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. It does it to me,
Yeah.
I'm even puppeteering it. Yeah. Anyway, so
you are a puppeteer, and from this job, you started doing the object project, and I like the fact that I see you use all these bits and bobs, because I saw this pixie-mitosis, this little creature, and yeah, it's so tell me about this little character.
Oh, which one did
The pixie-mitosis.
hang on, let me go and get one. Hang on. So
Okay.
it's great show. Where's Karen gone? Somewhere. Right, here he is. I got him. Coming.
Okay.
Coming. Dearie me. These two are my absolute favourites.
Oh, adorable.
This is
Lift them up, yeah.
This is Karen.
Yeah.
Karen and this is Blinky.
Okay.
So they're sort of the main characters in the show, but Karen's had a really interesting life. Karen's head used to be a nose from a giant bear costume that I made.
Okay.
It's toured around the whole world. This head's been around the whole world. It's so weird, that feeling that you kind of got this thing that's had a kind of life before it. And
Yeah.
these ears are kind of like these kind of toys that my wife had when she was little. She sort of
Yeah.
said, and I love those.
Yeah.
All the bits are kind of, I mean, even this puppet was in a previous show of mine, which was The Elves and the Shoemaker, but somehow it sort of wanted a bigger life. It wanted to do something else.
I love it. So, okay, so the basis was a puppet, and you just added all these things.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it looked more colourful, the original puppet, but it was called Karen. But even then, it was the show. So, I mean, Karen and Blinky were in The Elves and the Shoemaker, and they've made it into this adult show. So they've gone from a children's show to an adult show, and that's also something I'm experimenting with the Object Project, what it means to make adult work. Because I've made children's theatre most of my career, and even when I made children's theatre, I thought it was work that reached adults, reached families. But now I've sort of been experimenting with kind of bringing that childlike quality to adult work. So there's still that kind of sense of you're a 5-year-old looking at something with wonder, but you're also a 40-year-old going, oh my God, isn't the world crazy and messy? And we've all been on that journey from a hopeful small person to kind of someone who's realized that there's a lot of responsibility and also a lot of stuff that's out of your control. So that's what the experiment is, really, to kind of sort of, in a way, make children's work for adults.
No, but I've spoken to other puppeteers and said exactly the same. We talked about this, that the moment the puppet appear, it's sort of, you know it's not real, and it's a puppet, but there's something in you that thinks it's a human being.
I don't think we can turn off that feeling that I've met a lot of people who are puppet phobic. I suspect that feeling is quite overwhelming and they can't quite turn it off. The sense that somehow has an innate life, there's got this kind of it could do anything in a way. It's that's what I like in puppetry, is that sense that it's a living thing. Well, I love directing puppetry because when you get it right, it's another person on stage. It's not just an object. It really is a living entity. Again, so that's another thing we're experimenting with the Object Project. What it is when an object turns from an object into a living entity is that liminal space. But I just did a cabaret piece for the Newcastle Puppetry Festival, and it was all about a cheese grater. And it was literally just a cheese grater. I mean, no embellishments, nothing added or anything. Bits of it sort of looked a little bit like smiles and things, and so that helped. But we just sort of told this cheese grater's kind of story about trying to find a partner. And you really do go there. You really just do empathize with it. It doesn't take a lot. It's funny, isn't it?
And you think it's, and it's like, because it made me really think when I looked at your Instagram page, sort of, you can, if you really think about it, you can put this to everything. You can sort of put a character to every object, because really the objects speak that. They sort of speak what the character would be.
I mean, it's interesting. It doesn't take a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you can move any object in a way to make it look a little bit alive, I think. And I did a object workshop at Newcastle with performers and non-performers, and we just experimented with any objects. I just put loads of objects in the room, just see what comes to life, and everything came to life without exception. Nothing,
Really.
I mean, it's incredible. I think it's much more about what we as human beings do in the way of empathy. I think we empathize a lot sooner and with a lot more kind of strength than we realize. I think we emotionally connect with things. I think we don't just observe. I think we really do put ourselves into a character, and we also watch a character as a caring entity. I don't think it's passive. I don't think in any way watching theatre or going to an art gallery is passive. I think we bring ourselves, which is what, it's been a big discovery. Maybe I knew that already, but it's just really lovely to sort of highlight that.
Yeah.
Enjoy that journey a bit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
tell me
if I think of it also, when you were a child and your parent, or I did it with my children, the spoon that turns into an aeroplane, and so we all do it, without knowing that it is a little bit of puppetry and a little bit of theater if you think about it.
I think everyone's a puppeteer. I think I think it's interesting. I think in a way, being an entity within a human body is puppetry. Because we're moving these arms, we're sending signals to that arm to do that. And that's sort of puppetry. So we're just doing it all the time anyway.
Yeah.
It's also that observation, the interpretation of, I think a large part of puppetry isn't just purely manipulating the object. It's that connection with people. And I think puppetry is a lot more about a neurological process than it is a physiological one. I think it's sort of reaching into those parts of the brain that fire off these neurons that you kind of go, oh wow, yeah, that's I'm getting a lot of feeling watching that, or I'm repulsed by that, or whatever. So that's a good thing I'm really interested in exploring a lot more of. That's why we interpret that and how we interpret it. But yeah, we do, don't we? Even like we're grown-up adults.
Yeah.
We just switch back into this sort of like primal kind of childlike kind of. I mean, I've done shows purely adults now, and at the end, some of them are crying, and some of them are just kind of come up to me and say, "I just felt like I was this tall again. I was just like a child again." It's lovely to do that.
Yeah, I wanted to
I hope
ask
I'm not
you,
really disturbing them.
No, but I wanted to ask you now about the adult theatre that you. So, what would be the themes that you have for this theatre?
Themes.
Pardon?
Yeah, themes. The themes. Well, in Pixamatosis, there's a lot going on. Really, it's a show about. It's partly about war. So I mean, it's set in kind of like idyllic kind of garden, where all these kind of like pixie creatures live, but it isn't idyllic at all. There's a hierarchy, and there's clearly a predator within that hierarchy, and it's about them trying to live their lives whilst dealing with a tyrannical predator. The whole world's dealing with that at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's that, but it's also there's a sort of deeper layer of just that whole kind of examining what it is to be an entity and what existence is. It's a big question, isn't it? That whole existential question of what is life and what's the quality of life and what we're reaching for. And a lot of the characters in Pixamatosis are reaching for things that are outside their grasp. They strive, and sometimes they strive and succeed, and sometimes they strive and succeed, and that's their downfall. So it's just exploring all that, and that which is pretty much a human experience and an adult experience. Well, I feel anyway. I got to this point where I just thought I like telling stories, but I can't make stories that aren't messy anymore because life is messy. It's just that thing. I think ultimately, what I've kind of learned being a 54-year-old white man is that life is messy, life is complicated, and life is way too short. So it's just sort of about a lot of my shows, I think, are going to be about navigating that. And I don't really have any answers. I don't say I've got answers. And I think the ending of Pixamatosis is just a question. It's a question is like, what is the value of life? And it's more about, in a way, a celebration of the chaos of existence. So maybe it's a little bit like kind of personal therapy.
Oh, okay.
Everyone has to watch, bless them. But
But
nice.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
go on.
but what is also for me something that I thought about when I saw these little pixies that you made, these little characters, but the puppets are not necessarily pretty. I mean, it's not, you know what I mean? It's not these perfect, and yet, yet when you look at them, they are adorable. I mean, they are so cute, but they're very far from perfect. And I think in this day and age, this is what I love, that it is like that, that they are a little bit odd, and yet you find them very adorable.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting that one. That's been
That
a
is so
long-term
clever.
goal
Yeah.
of me. I don't. I struggle to make pretty things. I mean, a lot of my real job, no, I say real job, but the job that pays is making beautiful
Yes.
things for other people's theatre companies.
Yeah.
Even so, even then, I've put a little bit of kind of broken down quality to it. I think it's that. So I can't make beautiful things because life has been really times messy as hell for me, and I can't make things which are a fantasy in that way. Everything I do is kind of based on sort of that kind of reality of it. And it's all I just and that's interesting, the dialogue for me
Yeah.
of making something which is troubled, complicated aesthetically as well as its character. Uh, but you do bond with it. I can't make things that are just so ugly you can't really love them. But it has to be a bit of a tussle. You can't immediately go, "Oh, lovely puppets."
Yeah.
That's too easy a game. I mean, you can do it, but I sort of want people to kind of find their journey with the puppet a little bit. I'm sort of experimenting with Punch and
I
Judy.
love it.
So
Oh,
it's
that
also
is so adorable.
kind of use those sort of like different eyes and things because I don't. Again, symmetry for me is I just don't believe in symmetry. I think symmetry is a
Yeah.
myth.
So tell me about this character.
This is Mr. Punch. So I'm making my own Punch and Judy show, which is going to bend the rules quite a lot.
Oh,
I've
okay.
been making it for a long time. I haven't finished it, but I sort of just like the fact it's got the right qualities of Punch, but he's also taking it somewhere else. He's sort of got all that same kind of like crazy movement
Yeah.
and same kind of anarchy, but he's a little bit more vulnerable. I think I quite find with Punch and Judy is that Mr. Punch is always just a bit too in control of everything. He's got an answer for everything, but this one just hasn't. I think this one just constantly messes up and has to live with the existential angst.
Oh,
Even though
okay.
he's an incredibly bright and beautiful character, he's just got a lot of kind of issues, and he has to go to the underworld to rescue the baby because he messed up. And oh blimey, anyway, let's not go there. Anyway,
Okay, but it's relatable then.
yeah, well, exactly.
We can relate to this character then.
Yeah, we can.
With all our messed up lives.
It's not right. I mean, I'm sure there are people out there who've had gifted lives and have never had any problems, but God,
Yeah.
look, I just,
Well,
I've,
I think always well, I mean, we live really in a time where there's so much, and there's so much that we have and that we own, and it's looking at these basic things, these little odd things that we throw out or that we throw away, and you making it really something special now. The bits and bobs, and I love that.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, it's interesting what is valuable, isn't it? It's an interesting
Yeah.
question. What we
Well,
value.
I always thought because I can accumulate quite a lot, and I'm a bit of a hoarder with certain things.
Yeah.
But I also realized that, well, I think everybody is. We are all types of hoarders, but it's so interesting. I think when we're not here anymore, that we are the only ones who add the value to what we own, so other people won't necessarily. So you might as well hoard, and you might as well enjoy your time hoarding. So this is my philosophy.
Yeah, enjoy the things.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just the things that are valuable quite often acquire value when somebody else sees the value in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the whole kind of gold market. You know, I do wonder if like people just buy and sell gold because they're worried that if they didn't have gold to buy and sell, then they'd be out. There wouldn't be any sense of control. It's just a sense of, we have this dialogue about gold, and that's fine, right? We can deal with this. And I've got, you've got more, and you've got less. So great, we got bedrock. And I don't know. I think it's a human instinct just to kind of have very solid bedrocks of cultural value.
Yeah.
Because I'm questioning that. I really hate it when people buy me presents because I don't quite know how to enjoy that.
Oh, okay.
My greatest joy is going around secondhand shops and car boot sales, charity shops, and seeing something which just is like 50 pence, and like, you know, nobody really loves it, but suddenly I just think that thing has got a future life, and it's sort of, it's weird. And then my game is to kind of make that lovable to other people. So in a way, I then try and make them join in with my game of value. So,
Yeah.
which is,
well, you've got the gold right there with you.
Well, yeah, I think so.
All your puppets are so unique, and really it can't be reproduced.
No.
So so this is what I wanted to ask you also. So you go to like car boot sales and things, and do you also pick up stuff? You know, do you see things lying around and, hey, let me get this? Or you're not that type of person that
You really do not invite me to your house. Just make sure you've got everything when I've gone. Like Jean-Michel Basquiat. Whenever Basquiat went to people's houses, apparently he used to like paint on their fridges and stuff.
Really?
Which is like, yeah, oh god, no, he's doing that again. But then you go, oh, actually, that's probably worth a couple of million now. Anyway, but I don't do that. I don't really steal things. I do love, you know, skips that are left outside.
Yeah.
They're the best. They're not as good as they used to be. I think because people sell things on eBay now. In a way, it's interesting because now we've got eBay.
Yeah.
The lost and the old hasn't lost its value. You know, I sort of quite often want to buy old like tin pots and things like that, and they used to just get chucked out. But now people are selling and buying them, which is, it's heartening, but also a bit expensive for me. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you. But this is so amazing. I love what you do, really. And I have to say, your website is probably one of the websites that I think is the most powerful website. It's, I think people have to, I think your website is the example of really what a website should be, because you immediately understand what you're doing, and the way you did it, the homepage, you know, the first page, is absolutely amazing. And then when you get into the website, you just say bullet points exactly what you do. And, no beating around the bush. It's there and it's amazing. I think really your website is one of the best that I've ever seen. Yeah. Congratulations with that.
A few people have said that. I mean, I wanted to make a website that was like an object, that it was like walking around an art gallery. And so there isn't a lot of text on that homepage. In fact, I don't think there's any apart from like the title.
Yeah.
Sort of more like looking, and it just goes past, doesn't it? So it's more like it's just you're watching an art gallery or walking through an art gallery.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I think it's brilliant. But Marc, tell me now, what is the wish for you for the future?
What's the future? God, I could tell you that now, and then a week it's probably changed. But I'll tell you what my plan is now. I'm working on a new show, which I think is probably more of a show that, because I think Pixie Mitosis was definitely for sort of like older children and adults, and I think this new show is going to be more for kind of adults with younger children, but it's more, it's not a children's show, but it's not an adult show. So I'm just finding again, I love working in the liminal space, not specifically going there. I don't know if it'll sell, but it's called the Whitby Mermaid, and it's all about fisherman who's rescued by a mermaid in the town of Whitby, which is in Yorkshire. And there isn't a heck of a lot of story to it. It's just more about her seeing our lives and going, wow, you do all that. That's strange. And then trying to find a way to kind of have a relationship, him being a land person, her being a water person. So I don't know, that's what I'm exploring, but I think.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's all about those
I
micro
want to see. Yeah, I'm very eager to see those puppets.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I might.
So I'm going to check your Instagram very regularly to see.
Oh yeah, do I live on Instagram really?
Yeah, it's amazing that you do that, because it's great to see. But Marc, thank you so much for your time. This is
You're doing a brilliant thing, Petra. Well done for doing these interviews. They're lovely.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed that, and it's amazing to see what people do and hear what people do. And I'm so happy that I discovered you on Instagram, and that you came on my newsfeed, because I really love what you're doing.
Bless you. Oh well, maybe one day we'll meet up. That'd be nice.
Definitely. Whenever you come to Vienna, come and bring a show to Vienna, one of your puppet shows. And otherwise, if I come to Leeds, I'm going to look you up, because I would love to see you. I would love to see those puppets of yours.
Come to Leeds and we'll talk about Taunton. Anyway.
Okay.
It's lovely talking to you, Petra.
Okay, Marc. Have a lovely afternoon.
Right.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.